I'm going to give you a breakdown of the two-game series between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Oakland Athletics, and we're starting right now. What is going on? My name is Alpha Omega. Welcome to another video. If this is your first time here and you want to learn how to bet on sports like a pro and gain an edge over the sports books, start now by subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. So I took the day off from making a new video on Thursday, so I missed most of the series that begin on Friday, but I'm okay with it. I'm going to be greatly expanding the scope of this channel, so you definitely want to stay tuned for that information that I'm going to be talking about just a little bit later in the video. But first, let's talk about the two-game series between the A's and the Cardinals. It's really too bad that this series is so short because it involves two of the teams, each in their own division dogfights, both of which are trying to claw their way into the playoffs. Right now, the Cardinals are trending in the positive direction, winning 7 of their last 10 games, and have now taken a 1-game lead in the NL Central Division over the down-on-their-luck Cubs. The Cardinals are coming off taking 2 of 3 from the Cubs, and now head to Oakland to take on the A's. I'm not going to talk about the Cardinals' trade deadline moves, simply because St. Louis didn't make any. That doesn't mean that they needed to or they didn't need to, but they didn't. Oakland, on the other hand, made some big moves that we will get to momentarily. The A's are coming off taking 2 of 3 from the Brewers, but have only won 5 of their last 10 games. The A's pitching, especially their relief pitching, has been hit or miss the entire season. But let's go over the players that the A's acquired and why that significantly improves their chances of grabbing a playoff spot. The A's acquisition of Homer Bailey from the Royals on July 14th was a great pickup for them. The entire year, the A's have been juggling a patchwork pitching staff, with the exception of Mike Fiers, who has been fantastic, and the injured Sean Manaea, who is eyeing a mid to late August return to the big leagues. And with the acquisition of Homer Bailey, this provides the A's with another starter capable of pushing Oakland into the playoffs. Over the last 2 seasons, Bailey finished with a 6.43 and a 6.09 earned run average respectively, but has been increasingly effective, going at least 6 innings in 3 of his 4 starts with the A's, and besides a 9-run aberration against the Astros, who are the top offense in baseball, Bailey has not given up more than 3 runs in any of his starts. It's also important to remember that Bailey is a former first-round pick, which doesn't really mean that much except that he has the talent, as evidenced by the Reds continually giving him opportunities earlier in his career. As well, a minor point to consider is that Bailey hasn't been on a team that's over 500 since 2013. My point in this is to take into consideration the motivation of going from one of the worst teams in baseball in the Royals to a perennial playoff contender like the A's. The A's also added starter Tanner Roark and reliever Jake Diekman at the deadline. Tanner Roark, with a career 70-61 record with a 3.66 ERA in 7 seasons, has a 5-pitch arsenal and will benefit from pitching in Oakland Coliseum. This, in my opinion, was the master stroke of the Athletics, as I expect Roark to fit in nicely in the A's rotation and give them a more well-rounded pitching staff. Finally, moving on to Jake Diekman, he will be coming into Oakland primarily as a setup man to back up fellow relievers Liam Hendriks and Yusmeiro Petit. What Diekman provides to the A's is another strong reliever, which gives the A's the ability to mix and match pitchers to hitters more effectively. But Diekman's advanced stats show that he has been difficult for both righty and lefty hitters. The A's offense was not what they needed to address. It was their pitching, which includes 21 blown saves this season. Through their trade deadline acquisitions, I think Oakland went a long way in addressing that problem. The Game 1 Alpha Omega Vegas consensus line has the Athletics money line at -131, which has been bet down from the opening line of -145, with a buyback price on the Cardinals of +121 with a total of 9. Implied odds mean based on the current money line odds, what is the projected implied probability of victory? Basically, it's the chances of victory expressed as a percentage. In this case, Vegas is saying the A's have a 57% chance of taking Game 1, with the Cardinals having a 45% chance of pulling off the upset. Stay tuned for my advantages for each team to help you decide which team to bet on in this series. I'm going to break down some of the most important factors to consider when betting this series, but before we get into the statistical breakdown between the Cardinals and the A's, I mentioned earlier in the video that I'm going to be greatly expanding the scope of this channel. In the near future, I'm not only going to be including betting guides in the MLB, the NFL, college football, and college basketball, but what I'm also adding is I'm going to be discussing the trending sports topics of the day and their relation to sports betting. I want you as the viewer to gain some useful information or gain some info you didn't have before you watched the video so you can make more winning sports wagers. So a topic like Ezekiel Elliott's holdout is an example of the kind of stuff that I might cover in the future. I'll give you a hint on that one. He's not as big of a part of the Cowboys' success as the mainstream sports media thinks he is. And that's really what I want to provide for you in expanding my coverage of sports. The mainstream sports media dominates YouTube, and while their discussions have entertainment value, my goal is to make you money. What's more entertaining? Watching Skip and Shannon argue, or putting money in your pocket? I'll admit that I love me some Skip and Shannon, but I've never made not even $1 from the info that they provide. That's not what they do, but that is what I do. I put money in your pocket by giving you a pro sports bettor's perspective on the news of the day. Anyway, I'm in the process of filming some test videos for myself and my team to look over to get the correct formatting down, so I'm not wasting your time as the viewer or my own time. Before I started posting my betting guides, I probably made at least 100 videos that you never got to see just to get the basic formatting down. And as I grow this channel, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm still tweaking little things to get it just right. Speaking of which, I want to give a quick thank you to everyone who watches, likes, comments, and subscribes, because the way that the YouTube algorithm works, literally every little bit counts. Also, make sure and subscribe and hit that notification bell because, like I said, I'm going to be posting a lot of content. And remember, every single video I make gives you free, actionable info that you can use to make smarter sports wagers, regardless of whether you sign up with me or not. Also, speaking of signing up, remember to hit the link in the description and sign up for a sports pick package on my website in order to get the plays that I bet on every day. I have sports pick packages that can literally fit in with any bankroll. I have discounts on season passes, and I'm at 65% in 2019 with my most popular Wise Guy plays. Regardless of the package you choose, the value increases when you sign up for longer packages. I have standard unit packages where you receive all of my regular daily plays. I have season passes for individual sports, and I also have my Wise Guy packages that include my max unit Wise Guy plays that again are at 65% in 2019, along with occasional parlays, none of which are available when you just purchase a standard unit package. Regardless of the package you choose, I email you my daily plays and you turn my picks into your profit. I'm also changing around my Wise Guy promotion to give you even more reason to sign up now. If you purchase any Wise Guy package 1 week or longer, I'm guaranteeing that you'll profit from my picks, or you get the rest of my MLB season pass and my entire NFL season worth of picks, including all Wise Guy plays in both sports for free. So you sign up for a Wise Guy package and you either turn a profit or you get the rest of my MLB season pass and my full NFL season pass through the Super Bowl for free. Remember, that also includes all Wise Guy plays in both sports. I've never had a losing baseball season, so either way you're going to make money with me. I also don't send out Wise Guy plays every day, so you end up receiving a lot more days than your purchase length. Hit the link in the description of the video and I will turn you into a winning bettor. Now that I've updated you on the future of the channel and gone over why signing up with me can give you an edge over the sportsbooks and turn you into a consistent winner, let's break down some of the factors to consider when making a bet on this series. One of the most important statistical metrics in the Major League Baseball sabermetric and statistical communities is batting average on balls in play. BABIP measures how often a ball goes in play for a hit, excluding home runs. There's not a pro bettor in the world that doesn't factor this into their betting models. The Cardinals rank 7th in all of the MLB in terms of limiting an opponent's BABIP. This stat speaks more to the Cardinals' defensive ability coupled with a slight pitching edge. The Athletics, on the other hand, rank last in the MLB in offensive BABIP. Remember that this one stat by itself isn't nearly enough to make a correct prediction on the outcome of a game. However, placed within a larger context of multiple different statistics, BABIP can help predict the likely outcome of a game and a series. Advantage Cardinals. Runners left in scoring position, or RLISP, is a stat that is useful in determining how to bet a full game, totals, or live wagering. If you dig into how often a team gets runners in scoring position, this stat can be useful in betting full game lines and totals. And when used for live betting purposes, this stat can make you big money. The A's rank 3rd in all of the MLB in terms of runners left in scoring position. This means that when the A's get runners in scoring position, the majority of the time those runners score. While the A's are one of the best teams in baseball in RLISP, what makes this stat important for this series is that the Cardinals rank 29th out of 30 teams in terms of allowing opposing runners in scoring position to score. What all of this means is that the A's are one of the best teams in baseball in taking advantage when runners are left in scoring position, and the Cardinals are literally one of the worst teams in baseball in limiting damage when opposing runners are in scoring position. This is easy. Advantage A's. Expected fielding independent pitching, or xFIP, estimates a pitcher's expected run prevention independent of defensive performance. This stat is the closest thing to showing a pitcher's true performance without additional calculations. Some of you may not be as familiar with this stat. However, any professional bettor relies on this particular stat heavily when deciding how to bet a game. As a side note, if you're serious about betting on baseball, you have to learn how to use this stat. The Cardinals rank 10th in the MLB in terms of xFIP, which means that the Cardinals have a top 10 pitching staff. The A's, on the other hand, rank 29th out of 30 teams in xFIP. That puts the A's having statistically the second worst pitching staff in baseball. Take into account what I talked about earlier in the video in terms of Oakland overhauling their pitching staff through acquisitions at the trade deadline before making your bet. Regardless, we can only bet based on what we know. Advantage Cardinals. Weighted runs created plus measures a team's total offensive value and measures it by the runs created, controlling for park effects, and compares it to the league average. Basically, weighted runs created plus takes into account the fact that the Rockies score more runs because they play at Coors Field and adjusts the stat accordingly. So just because you play at a park where it's easier to hit home runs does not mean that your weighted runs created plus statistic is higher, which is why this stat is the most accurate for measuring a team's total offensive value. The A's rank 10th in all of the MLB in terms of weighted runs created plus. The A's are a top 10 offensive team regardless of which park they play in. The Cardinals, on the other hand, rank 22nd in weighted runs created plus. The Cardinals are the hotter team right now, but the A's offense statistically is far more potent. And don't be fooled into thinking St. Louis can swing with the A's. Advantage Athletics. In addition to this preview video, I also have a link to more MLB betting guides. You'll see a link right here. I recommend that you click on that now. As always, in full disclosure, while I do provide a lot of useful info in these videos, if you really want to take your sports betting to the next level, you have to sign up with me, Alpha Omega. I'm currently offering sports pick packages that can fit in with any bankroll. So hit the link in the description, find the package that you think helps you the most, and sign up with me today. And if you want to learn more about betting on sports like a pro and gaining an edge over the sports books, start now by hitting the round subscribe icon so you don't miss anything. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.